Okay, we're going to look at some of the ways of creating smooth or rounded objects. And we're just going to start with a simple box. Okay? And try to make it so that it's sort of different on each side. So maybe like this, sort of a TV proportions. So it's kind of a square here, but it's tall and it's wide. Maybe we make it a little wider than it is narrow. There we go. That looks perfect. Okay. So we're going to start by right-clicking, converting to editable poly. Okay. And we want to make sure we're making as much use of as possible of the hotkeys for select, move, rotate, and scale that we've learned earlier in the course, QWER. And these new ones here, these selection hotkeys. 1 for vertices, 2 for edges, 3 for borders, which we'll get to later, and 4 for polygons. Okay, we won't really use element much at this part, but that's a 5. Okay, so we're going to use a lot of 2 and 4. 2 for edge, 4 for polygon. We don't want to move vertices unless we have to. Okay, I've also hit the 7 key to enable the number of polygons and vertices up here. And we see that the polys on this is 6 and vertices is 8. So right now there's 6 faces and 8 vertices. Okay. What maybe isn't quite obvious is that these faces aren't actually quadrilaterals. They're actually triangles. And you can see that right here. This face is actually 2 triangles. One here and one here. Okay, we'll see that lifting that vertice up, I'll undo that, versus lifting this vertice up gets us actually different shapes. And you can see sort of 3ds Max is trying to figure this out, but it's a bit like, you know, twisting a really rigid board, and this is 3ds Max's version of breaking. Okay, so we want to try to avoid that, and that's why we're going to try to steer clear of modifying individual vertices at this point. But modifying edges, okay, moving them up and down or in and out is okay, and modifying faces is okay, moving faces around. I can pretty much do whatever I want with the face. Okay. So, 2 and 4. I'm going to start with this face, and I'm just going to sort of, just kidding. I'm going to start with this edge, and I'm just going to pull it up and sort of pull this one out. And to give us a sort of weird shape, maybe a little less than that. Okay. And I'll push this one down some. Okay, so I got this weird looking shape. Okay. And I'm going to move this original object into the background here. And I'm going to make 3 copies. So I'm going to hold down Shift and drag, except I'm going to make reference copies. Okay, these copies remember their parent. So whatever I do to this one, and we can see, come here, edge, and let's slide that edge back into place. And see it's happening on all of them. Okay? But if I do something to this one, okay, if I apply, say, a mesh smooth, which is one of our smoothing operators, we see that the others aren't affected. So let's do that here. Let's apply a mesh smooth. Let's change iterations to 2. Let's apply a turbo smooth to the second one and change iterations to 2. And let's apply a tessellate to this one. Okay, and we're going to select 2 for the iterations for that one as well. Okay, so these are the 3 primary ways of adding geometry across an entire object at once. And we're going to investigate these in the next video.